Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, King Dia, Lauren Frey, Grim Clover, Internet, Bloodsport, City of Steel, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. So, MultiVersus has dropped like a rock. I'm seeing Steam charts that don't seem to lie. The player base has just tanked over the past couple of weeks, and I think it's safe to say the reason why. This was a heavily shielded free-to-play game that YouTubers were all over, that they were desperate for this to be the next Fall Guys so they can milk this for forever, right? So they could like milk this and stream it and like constantly talk about like weird updates and stuff like that. Like, oh man, Velma can't call the cops on Kobe Bryant because that's racist or something. Like, I've seen a lot of stupid shit in regards to like MultiVersus. I've seen like Darkside Phil try to say it's like better than Smash Bros. Or that he likes it more than Smash Bros. Like, it seems like these kind of games are attracting YouTubers, streamers, and shills because they're free, and by being like the people like at the forefront like promoting this game, they stand to gain a lot of money by doing it, assuming the game takes off. But like the thing is, like, it seems like there are a lot of we're kind of reaching the point where stream-based games are becoming oversaturated. You know what I mean? Like, plenty of people are still playing Fortnite, plenty of people are still playing Fall Guys, people are playing like Rocket League, Overwatch, like there's so many like bad video games that people stream just for like the attention or whatever, that like something like MultiVersus, something that's like clearly aping off the Smash Bros formula, can't really compete with. And that's kind of like my thought on this, is that like this game had like a big marketing push, like initially. Like, it had that trailer that was like, holy shit, so hype. Iron Giant with Superman, Bugs Bunny fighting Batman, like Shaggy goes Super Saiyan. Like, this is the most hype thing ever. Oh man, forget Super Smash Bros. Forget like any other fighting game series. Like, forget Dragon Ball FighterZ. Oh man, this is the real hype shit. And like, it was so pathetic, especially when like you're a 40-year-old guy who I'm 100% sure does not know who most of these characters are. Like, if you're Darkside Phil, you don't know who the Steven Universe characters are. You don't know like about some of these other like lesser known characters. I don't see why there was such a big push for this. And now that we've seen the game die, and like now that people aren't really talking about the game dying, I'd like to take a moment to just kind of like say that like this needs to stop. Like, there needs to be more people willing to call this shit out for what it is. It's just streamers trying to grift off of the hot new free-to-play game, trying to build an audience by covering some shit that nobody actually wants to play. And that's kind of the situation we're in now in like the current state of gaming, is that like nobody actually wants to play video games. I saw Darkside Phil, again, I keep bringing up Darkside Phil, but I saw him talking about Splatoon 3 the other day, and he's just like, my views for Splatoon 3 are in the toilet. I'm not making any money. I don't know why I would keep playing. Here's why you keep playing, Phil. Because you're supposed to have fun with it. You're supposed to enjoy the game. The fact that like he looks at video games in that way, he specifically evaluates them based on how much money he can stand to make for them. It really just goes into that mindset of like the streamer, how like you have to be a brain dead like ape just performing tricks for your audience, your brain dead audience. That's what a streamer is, fundamentally speaking. Like, I don't know why you would ever want that as a career. I don't see why that's desirable. I don't understand why there are so many people doing it, especially now that it's resulting in objectively bad games getting positive coverage just because a handful of people think they can make money from it. And in MultiVersus case, like, I think this is true for most games, by the way, I think going forward, people need to stop buying the mediocre stuff that comes out, or playing the mediocre stuff that comes out, and just playing the good stuff that already exists. Like, don't play MultiVersus, don't play Nicktoons, play Smash Ultimate, you know? Like, do everything in that game. It takes like hundreds of hours, but it's well worth it, and it's a lot of fun. There is no reason to play like a cheap knockoff from another company. Like, if you want a new shooter, play Splatoon. Like, oh, Overwatch isn't doing for you? Play Splatoon. Like, you want a new JRPG? Play Live a Live. Play Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Play, like, Octopath Traveler 2 coming out February of next year. Play anything other than Final Fantasy 16. You know what I mean? Like, if you want a new fighting game, wait for Nintendo to put out a new ARMS, right? Pikmin 4 is coming out next year, all right? There's so much, like, good stuff on the horizon from Nintendo consoles, and like so much stuff that already exists that I am 100% convinced that like 90% of the audience does not play. I find it very I am very agitated at the amount of people who will just refuse to check anything out on Nintendo Switch that isn't like a big AAA game that they can get like a lot of viewers off of. You know what I mean? Like, again, we've seen this over and over again. And like with Splatoon 3, we're seeing like one of the best-selling games in the world get ignored because streamers don't think they can make money off of it. Like that's kind of where we're at. Where like we're legit in a situation where like bad games that perform well on stream are more popular with streamers than legitimately good ones. You know what I mean? Now, I think the culture is shifting a little bit because I have been noticing more and more on my feed that like there are more and more like enthusiast channels. There are more and more hobbyists. There are people like me that are just kind of like covering niches that they like. People who cover JRPGs, for example, tend to be hobbyists who are just kind of in it for like the genuine love and passion for the medium as opposed to monetary gain. Like you have like the fighting game community who have their own culture. You have like Nintendo fans. Like you have like legitimately good people on YouTube who are like talking about good games, but like it's drowned out by this nonsense, this circle jerk of like just nonstop 24 hours of coverage of shit that nobody is playing or cares about. And again, I kind of said this like from the bottom of my heart. I wish I had never heard of MultiVersus. I wish I had never heard of. I wish I'd never heard of the game. I wish I'd never heard of Nicktoons All-Star Battle Royale, because like it's not worth like an iota of like a brain cell to think about these products and whether or not I should check them out, because the answer is and always has been no. There is no reason to play Nickelodeon All-Stars Battle Royale. There was no reason to play MultiVersus. There was no reason to play PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, right? There was no reason for any of this shit, because at the end of the day, it could never compete with Nintendo Switch's lineup of games, including Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.